It's because they've known it all along. They knew this all along. Listen, these types of big money people, controllers of the world, they plan things out years and years in advance, and they have an entire storyline that they play out. The people believe it when they watch the media. So they believe that these people weren't in on the idea of XRP leading the way, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana leading the way all this time. They just happened. Whoops, we just decided it on a whim that XRP is going to lead the way. No, they knew the whole time. And a lot of them are in on it. They know it. They could look at the tech and see the superiority of the tech to everything else. They could look at the deals and the partnerships. Why do you think there was so many bank partnerships in the beginning? So much experimentation. They knew from the beginning, and they know more. They know more. That's why they're so bullish on this. That's why they can push it out now and say, yup, XRP. And now what you going to do about it? Right. That's what they're doing. Despite the chagrin of many people and the doubters, so many people doubted XRP. That means they bit the bait. They bit the bait. But you see a lot of people flipping. They've changed over now. They want to make some money off XRP. Whatever their excuse is, they're on board with XRP, period. But that was just part of the bait. A lot of these entities know. Charles Hoskinson knew. The government knew. They know. They look at something. They know what's going to be big way ahead of time. Not them necessarily. Their advisors do. I told you, they have some of the most brilliant advisors in the world. They know what's going to be big money. They know what's going to be a dominant technology long before everyone else does. And when they don't want you in, they mislead you. And that's what happened. And now the time has come to unleash this thing and for them to capitalize on it in every possible way. They're going to capitalize on it. And once they step in, they're not going to step back by much. Everything, all those prices will be boosted dramatically. Not like what we just saw. See, this is why I said you have to watch who's doing the buying. You have to watch who's reacting to these different things. So what just happened, let's wait until the information comes out. I could be completely wrong. But because of that tiny little pop in the price the other day, even though it went green, that was great. It showed resilience. That's the positive aspect. Everything showed resilience the other day just off of that good news. OK, but because it was such a small pop, I didn't believe that it was the companies buying. I don't think they work like that. It looked like it appeared to me to be a retail pop. Retail got excited, and retail bought in a little bit. Things went up a little bit and then retail sold and it went down, which, if I'm correct, lines right up with the fear and greed index. Is still showing a whole lot of fear in retail, while the businesses have made it clear they're bullish long term on most of these things, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. All of these legit ones right here are super bullish right now. We've heard these different businesses talking about them. That money's coming toward them later on. There's going to be a skyrocket in price. My humble opinion, not financial advice, right? But there will be a skyrocket in price, in my humble opinion. And they believe in that long term. So when they act and when they cause a price pop, it's not going to be small. I just don't believe it. Once again, we'll wait to see the information come out later. And they're going to put it out and we'll see who it was. If it was retail, this makes perfect sense. This is another reason why. With retail, although, yes, make your money, do what you must, do what you have to do. Long term, it's like retail loses out a lot of the time. A lot of the time. But anyway, so you have things like this come out where you have the Cardano creator saying this, Charles Hoskinson, you tell me how you rectify this in your own mind. He says, quote, XRP is a global standard, unquote. He's been very positive with XRP lately. This is after years and years and no shot at him whatsoever, no disrespect. Years and years of battling with XRP community about XRP and Ripple, etc. Listen, he always knew he's just a competitive man. You got to know competitive people when there's something that's good, something that's strong. They want to be the best over it. They're going to fight against it. Some people are like that when they're competitive. He's very competitive. No doubt Cardano is one of the best. In my humble opinion, I've said it for a long time. No doubt Cardano is one of the best. XRP is one of the best. Solana is one of the best, period, hands down. No matter what problems they may have here and there, the banks have had more. The banks are even in court for problems. Nobody seems to care about that. The banks have stolen money, allegedly. This is what some of the things are about. You saw the other day, some person from a bank stole $1 million from people's accounts. Let me repeat that again. That's one. There's been multiples. Some CEOs were allegedly stealing money of various banks. Some regular employees were stealing money, but this one stole $1 million. You think the people are going to care? No, they don't. So if you get a little hiccup here and there in the bank coin companies, which is not much at all, not many of them have any type of hiccup. It really doesn't make a difference to the big businesses or who are going to flood them with capital, period. Millionaires are going to be made, period. Some people are going to make dozens to hundreds of millions of dollars because they're going to go heavy at the right time. They know what's coming, period. I'm just telling you. Hey, you believe what you want. I'm telling you what I know, what I'm seeing. It's happened multiple times before, and the big one hasn't happened yet. The big one is coming. So now, with that being said, and the founder of Cardano, all of a sudden just flips around and is just like, hey, XRP is great. Ripple is great. XRP is a global standard. And yes, I know they're going to be working together. I believe that was always going to be the way. Go back some years and watch my videos, right? Didn't I say that all the Bankcoin companies would be congealing and coming together? I used to say forming Voltron. Anybody remember that? And you see it happening. Right? I believe then and I believe now. They always knew the people, it was rigged. The people were fooled. And now the biggest unveiling hasn't even occurred just yet. It hasn't. You saw that pop in price yesterday. That shows that excitement moves the people. The littlest bit of excitement. Imagine when they start dropping names of banks. You see what Bank of America is going through right now? You think that they're not going to utilize Ripple, who they've been praising year after year after year, or have people forgotten? They forgot. It's like crazy how people forget. It's like they forgot. But then you see the news. If you're reading the banking news, you see Bank of America's in trouble, big trouble. If you're reading the banking news and you see about the unrealized losses, they just reported on it. What did you see? They need the DLT companies. They need the bank coins. That means the bank coins will receive a wave of capital, the likes of which people have never seen before. That's why the people remain excited. They're like, is it time to get in? Is it not? Is it time to get in? But they don't really know. So they're going to get in and they're going to sell quick because they're afraid. They're not sure. When you're not sure, you have fear. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? When you're sure of something that is going, it's the one is going to be up. It's the standard. Yeah, you hang in there for a little bit because you know that price is going to explode dramatically. People haven't seen anything yet when it comes to XRP. They haven't. They have not. None of these bank coins. And some of them are sleeping a little bit longer than others. That doesn't mean nothing's going to happen. A lot of people over time, this doubt starts to fill them. That's bad. That's bad. And that's how they end up losing out. Just because something's sleeping for a while, that's called a sleeping giant. Some of them always lag behind. It's not time yet. When they drop that Ripple case, and it looks like it's close, when they drop that Ripple case, all the rest of them are going to wake up and say, oh, it's time. Mark my words. I could be completely wrong, but mark my words. If they start coming out with a whole bunch of announcements, all of these different media are going to be covering it. Oh, that chain. Oh, they got some partnerships. They just talk about, and people are going to get more bullish. The other people that abandoned those chains are going to come back. All of that bullish energy is going to collect together. That's how you get an explosion. It's happened before. I'm not talking about anything that hasn't happened before. So going by what has happened before and the potentiality now, knowing that crypto is going to be unleashed, knowing that a lot of businesses, they've been talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks, literally crying tears, not literally, but crying tears. There was another phrase I wanted to use. Pouring their souls out to you in articles telling you, hey, the business industry needs advancements. The business industry needs technology. They need full automation. Well, what are you going to need in full automation, folks? What does it take to have true full automation? What did they say? You need DLT, you need smart contracts, you need AI. Smart contracts and AI are going to be at the crux of full automation. Okay, if that's the case, then how much money stands to be made from B2B cross-border payments? How much money? Right, that hasn't hit yet. That's one catalyst. It hasn't hit yet, but it's coming. If they're telling you they desperately need it, I'm trying to say this in a way where YouTube doesn't hold it against me, which is very difficult, but I'll say it's a now or never moment. And if they don't, just like the BIS told everybody, if they don't conscript, if they don't congeal with these technologies, they're going to be left behind. What does that mean? When the BIS said that, what does that mean, folks? If these businesses and banks do not, especially the small, medium size, because they want to thrive and they don't want to get gobbled up by these bigger businesses and they don't want to be destroyed. If they don't take on these technologies, they will be destroyed. Then there's we could go deep. Then we're talking about the banking industry. That's been terrible. Nothing's changed with that. It's just so much other news that's come out that we haven't had enough time to cover all of the different banking news that's been coming out. They haven't been doing well at all. Even more banks have been added to their troublesome bank list. And now with regulations loosening up, here's the thing about that. Listen, a double-edged sword cuts both ways. You understand that? A double-edged sword. And that's what this seems like. Loosening up of regulations has a lot of positive catalysts. 100%. For the smart, for the wise, those who are playing the game the right way, positive catalyst. But it goes the other way also. For those who are reckless, uncontrolled, they don't break habits easily, then loosening of regulations could be destructive. They will go right back to their old habits because they know they can get away with it. And that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about the majority, not all, the majority of the banking industry. They've gotten away with so many very corrupt things. I mean, no disrespect, but they've been taken to court for it. I'm going to say it's corrupt. They violated a lot of different laws, right? Even what do you call it? The divulgence laws, where they're supposed to report certain things. They were taken to court over that. A lot of the big banks. We reported on it here. That's significant when you're thinking about a technology they're going to need. That's another thing. You know, I know I'm jumping around, but I'm giving you a lot. All of this, look all of it up. Screenshot it, save it, keep it up here. It's important. The people who are running the show right now want transparency. They want to know where this money is going. They want to know that you're complying. Sure, we're loosening up regulations for you, but you better not be doing anything bad. That's the way that it is, right? It's like the old parenting style of the older generations, right? Where the parents used to let the children, hey, listen, you can stay out. You can stay out late till the lights come on. But don't you get in any trouble in the town. Don't let any people tell me you're getting in trouble. It's like that. So they want to ensure that they're not causing any trouble. They got to stay on the up and up. How do you do that? You can do that through these technologies because smart contracts are going to make sure that whatever you're doing, it's obeying that contract. It's obeying that smart contract. And the AI is reinforcing that. The AI is looking at everything all the time, making sure you're abiding by everything. There's nothing out of the way, nothing in violation. They need it. We're living through huge moments here. So now let's move on from there. So then you have articles like this that show that there's a continued forward momentum when it comes to crypto being unleashed. It's continuing. We need to know this. So we know what's coming next, which we believe very, very soon is going to be that announcement about Ripple. Now, the announcement is not the big part about this, although that's significant because it means we leapt over that barrier. That barrier has been removed. Now, this article says SEC agrees to drop case against crypto exchange Kraken. So another case has been dropped. They're dropping everything in sight. It's almost time. Are you ready for it? I don't know what ready means to you. All right. We all have to do what was best for us. But that time is coming. Now, why that's significant to me, once again, is once they say that, the clock is ticking on major announcements. They've been making announcements. Don't get me wrong. Ripple has done a great thing of making announcements. And saying, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that, we're making a deal over here. You heard the announcement of the last two custody deals that they did. That's major. That's major. That leads to bigger things. But once they make that Ripple, SEC drops Ripple case announcement that I haven't heard yet, clock starts ticking on bigger announcements than anything they've done before. Anything. And once again, that's why it was interesting and it was important over the last few years to watch how the price reacts to these smaller announcements. And it always reacts. So if it reacted this much to these announcements, how much will it react to something that is a mega announcement, life-changing announcement, historical announcement? Because it will be when it comes to the United States, depending on how many banks they have or on RippleNet, which I can't remember which expert it was. We read something here on the channel from an expert that was saying, hey, listen, and it was pretty much what I was saying. It works better if you have a multitude of banks. 1, 2, if you take that information Christopher Waller put out there, if that was actually about Ripple, and we don't know if it was, we can speculate. But if that was about Ripple and saying that at that time, what he knew, what he heard was that this one has over 600 banks. We don't know if he was talking about Ripple. Over 600. That's just what he heard, what he knew. Ripple doesn't have to disclose how many banks they have to anybody publicly or privately. They don't have to talk about all of their deals and partnerships. And then there's a separation between those partnerships which are locked in and those who are potentially being locked in, or those you have a handshake deal with, a handshake deal with. It's just verbal for now. You're working on things, but it hasn't been signed on the dotted line. There's differentiation there. So, but that's an outsider talking about what they heard. And let me tell you something, just by what they heard, if that was about Ripple, just by what they heard, that was good. But if they start dropping announcements about U.S. banks, once they're in the clear, boom, that's going to be huge. Now, it's not just the announcements that are huge. Of course, see, we go from one thing to the next logically. It's not just about the announcements. It's about that utility. Oh, my word, folks, we haven't even hit the peak yet of crypto. We haven't even hit the peak of research at all. The fun part didn't start. We've been getting through the hard part. The hard part is still here. Once we have announcements from any of these bank coin companies, any of them, we can start monitoring. If they say now the utility is about to kick in, they're going to start using these services. Now we can start monitoring the volume and values. Whoa, that's powerful information for future movements, future money making. It will tell us a lot. And now then from that point forward, we can observe over time and start taking averages. At that point, it's going to get fun. It's going to be very powerful. Then also listen out for their satisfaction with the product. So then we give it 2 months, 3 months. Then we're going to start hearing back from those companies on, do they like it? Is it successful? Is it not? We're going to hear from professional companies. Is it successful? Do they consider this something that's growing, something that's good? Just like we did from FedNow. Same thing. It takes that utility to kick in for us to get to that point. It hasn't gotten there yet. Man, I mean, there's going to be so much, and there's so many different positive moves to make. If you're a moneymaker, once that time comes and and we have the names of banks, we can go into their financial, we can start looking into their financial documents. We can start following the news on them, right? Tracking that news. What are customers saying? Are customers happy with this? All of that information, if you're a money making person, is going to be powerful. That's why keeping up with this type of information, doing research is so potent right now. And as I said before, I believe researchers are going to continue to win because of that type of thinking. When you have all that information, it gives you a certain type of foresight where you're right more times than not. All right, now, so I'm not sure how long this video is as of now, so let's try to move on to a little bit of Bitcoin news. A little bit. Let's see what they have to say here about Bitcoin today. Just bear with me one moment as this article loads up. So it says this: Raoul Pal predicts second phase of the banana zone sees crypto bull run extending to 2026. This would not surprise me. Let's hear what he has to say. Macro guru and Real Vision chief. Here goes an ad popping up. I don't control this. Let me just click it off. Bear with me. Oh, there we go. Okay. Real Vision chief executive Raoul Pal says it is within the realm of possibility for crypto to witness an extended bull run this cycle. I agree with him. I do. And I say that with such passion because there's been a lot of people once again, ripping crypto down. It sticks in my mind. I'm a person. It does, because I vehemently disagree with that. Although to each his own. I could be wrong. They could be wrong. Who knows? I believe I'm right. And I believe this bull run is going to go much further than people believe, much higher than people believe. So I'm happy to see that there's allies in that thinking, for sure. It says, quote, but by the back end of March, we should start to see price accelerate. And then in April or May and June, we should see some really significant price action as the second phase of the banana zone kicks in. So we have the start of the banana zone. We are now in a correction phase 1. That happens each and every time. That's what I was saying. I said this, well, I was going more on catalysts than historic patterns. I'm pretty sure Raul is going by historic patterns, things that have happened already, things like that. But I feel like the catalysts are what's dominating right now. And I think, once again, there's a lot of market manipulation. Look at 2017. It's almost identical. Then as we go into March, April, May, we start accelerating up again into the next phase of the banana zone. And then we'll have another correction. And you'll be going, quote, oh, my God, it's all over, unquote. Whoa, I'm so glad he sees that. Every single time there's a correction, a little dip, they say the same thing. Oh, crypto's over. The bull run is over. And they run with that. And man, this media is powerful. The people go for it. He goes a little bit further. You'll be gripped with fear all over again. Then we'll have the final top into the end of the cycle. He sees it. There is this cycle. It just keeps repeating itself. But let me correct him. I won't be filled with fear. Not whatsoever. First of all, I'm just not a fearful person like that. And I think knowledge, when you have certain type of knowledge, it negates certain amounts of fear. I do. I believe that. And I think some people, there's also another side. Let me address the other side. There's people that take profit, has nothing to do with fear. There's people that are not long term. I get it. I understand it. That's what they plan to do. They have their own reasons, and they're good reasons. So there is a flip side to that. So some people are going to sell and do different things, and it has nothing to do with fear whatsoever. But let me just acknowledge that, right? We can't put everybody into a box, and everyone's not a monolith. But yeah, then they show the charts here. And he's correct. It looks so similar. It does. Wow. This is a good chart also. If you check it out, this article is on dailyhodl.com. Let's continue on. It says, according to Powell, the business cycle, fluctuations found in the total economic activity of a country marked by recurring upswings and downswings may extend into the next year, taking crypto with it. So that's something else to keep in mind. Quote, my view is that the business cycle is taking a long time below 50, is starting to expand now, and that has probably extended the cycle into 2026. Do you believe that crypto is the bull cycle is going to go into 2026? So now let's move on here. I had a few more articles. We did a good amount, I think, of Bitcoin. And of course, you saw a little volatility today. I thought that would be rational. I thought logical, because I think retailers are the ones who made that pop the other day off that news, not the companies. Companies, you'll see a much, much bigger rise in price. I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe. So now, how should we close this video out today? We have a Cardano. Charles Hoskinson has been making a lot of news cycles. Let me just touch on this very lightly here. It says here, Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson shuts down White House roll rumors. What rumors is it about? It says Cardano founder Hoskinson has put an end to growing speculation that he might be considered for a crypto-related position in the U.S. government. I can see why he would do that. And I don't know who would take that position, who is in such a powerful position as Charles Hoskinson. And I say that knowing other tech giants have done that. But no, he's an active part of building on Cardano, pushing Cardano. Cardano is his love, his dream, is his baby, his magnum opus, his masterpiece. I don't see a man like that stepping away from it before he sees it its victory realized, its potential realized. I just don't see that happening. Once Cardano reaches its peak, is fully unleashed, the world sees its power. He even wants it to become the security layer for companies, for crypto, which is why he's reaching out and working with so many different companies. That hasn't been realized yet. I just don't see him taking on something that's going to distract him from that mission. And people have to understand U.S. government work, and I've known a lot of people in the government, it's very stressful. And it distracts you from everything. There's always a problem. Yes, you took the job. Yeah, I know all that spiel. But if you have another thing that you're building that's going to take a lot of focus and concentration, that is not a position or job that you get into. Unless you have someone that you trust is going to run all the operations of your company and what you're building outside of that for you. And you trust them more than you trust yourself with your magnum opus, with your baby, with your masterpiece. I just don't see him being one to do that. No, and I wouldn't want him to do that either. Right now, I think Cardano is in a position where it's about to shake the world in the next few years. It could, maybe it doesn't, right? Some people would disagree with that. But like I said, I believe in Cardano. I do. And I say that as a person. I have no Cardano. I have zero Cardano. It doesn't matter. I know when something has potential, and I think Cardano is it. That's why I've been saying that for years. I haven't had any Cardano for years. But I can say something honestly, and until it reaches that height, I don't think he's going to step away. I don't think he's going to take his eye off the ball. He's a hungry type of individual where he wants to win badly. He's competitive. He doesn't like to fail. A person like that is not taking on this. I could be wrong, but they're not taking on this kind of position. I don't think so. You tell me what you believe. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.